The story starts inside a ship, where two repairmen were busy with their work. Suddenly, they felt a strange disturbance. Out of nowhere, an enormous and terrifying rat-like creature appeared in front of them. A female employee got scared and started running away immediately. But while running, her foot slipped on something, and she fell straight through the floor of the ship. That terrifying creature slowly poked its head out and began staring at her. The scene changes. On the other side, a girl named Selena, frustrated by her fake acting friends, enters a cruise company's office seeking some peace. There, she accidentally bumps into an employee named Pete. Pete is charmed by Selena's innocence and nervousness, and he decides to help her by suggesting a hiding spot. Moments later, 5 girls dressed like princesses follow Selena onto the cruise ship as they had come to celebrate a grand birthday party. Pete cleverly diverts them in another direction so Selena can hide peacefully. Meanwhile, the cruise has already departed, and many shocking twists are about to unfold on this journey. A boy goes alone to the lounge area, where he tries to sniff a powder-like substance to relieve his fatigue. Just then, he hears a strange whistling sound. He looks around but sees no one. As he turns back again, he notices a mask lying on the floor. He goes to pick it up but hears the same whistle again. Thinking someone is playing a prank, he turns back angrily. Suddenly, a door behind him opens, and he sees that the same mask has now appeared in another room. The boy gets scared and tries to run away, but just then, someone attacks him with a sharp object. The boy began crawling on the ground in pain, groaning in agony. Just then, that same rat-like creature named Ziam arrived there. It picked up a burning torch from the ground and shoved it into the back of the boy's head. Meanwhile, Selena suddenly felt the urgent need to use the toilet, but the women's restroom was under repair. Reluctantly, she went into the men's restroom. As she stepped inside, she heard a strange chewing sound coming from one of the stalls. Out of curiosity, she moved closer. But just then, a nurse-like woman with a tied ponytail suddenly appeared from behind, startling Selena. In fact, the nurse was also in a hurry and had come to use the same restroom. Both somehow managed their business and came out. Neither of them knew that the terrifying creature was hiding in the stall from which the strange noise was coming. A little later, the spotlights on the upper deck of the cruise began to rotate oddly. A police officer came to inspect the technical issue. Suddenly, he saw a mysterious shadow darting around in the distance. He became alert and moved forward. As he got closer, a heavy hammer came crashing down on his foot. His right leg was badly injured, and in the very next moment, his left leg was also attacked. Groaning in pain from the hammer blows, the officer was so severely hurt that he couldn't even stand. He tried to crawl toward his pistol, but just then, another strong hammer blow landed on his hand. Meanwhile, on the backside of the cruise, Selena, who was enjoying the breeze, heard a distant cry for help. She walked in the direction of the sound, but what she saw froze her to the core. A police officer's body had been so brutally crushed by the ship's wings that it was almost unrecognizable. At that very moment, the terrifying rat-like creature turned around and stared directly at Selena. But seeing him, it seemed as if something had stirred in her heart. Selena got scared and immediately turned around and ran off. She went to the cruise employees and told them everything. But by the time they got there, neither the rat-like creature was visible, nor was there any trace of the policeman. Selena didn't find any blood or signs of a struggle either, so they assumed Selena was just babbling under the influence of alcohol and didn't investigate further. Meanwhile, the captain noticed that the fog over the sea was getting thicker, making it difficult to see the route. He tried to contact the main tower via wireless, but the signal kept breaking up, making communication impossible. Just then, he heard the sound of footsteps. Even after looking around, he couldn't see anyone. That's when his eyes fell on an old picture on the ship's map. In the picture, he was standing next to the former captain, and beside them was a faint image of some rat-like creature. As he leaned in to look more closely, a glimpse of that terrifying face appeared in the mirror on the wall. In an instant, blood splattered across the entire control room. The captain's head was severed and flew across the room. The rat-like creature then propped the captain's body up on the chair and began piloting the ship itself. Its face was glowing with satisfaction, and it was humming an old tune, as if celebrating some evil victory. The ship began to drift off course. On the other side, Selena was trying to explain everything to the nurse, but the nurse still didn't believe her. However, Eve felt there was truth in Selena's words. Said, "I've seen stranger things in New York. I believe you." Just then, the assistant captain returned to the control room. Seeing the bloodstains in the captain's severed head, he panicked. He immediately tried to report it to the main tower, but the signal had completely cut off. On top of that, the navigation device had also malfunctioned. Dense fog had spread all around, and now the cruise had completely lost its way. The assistant captain ordered Veer to gather all the passengers on the lower deck. He himself went off in search of the killer. Meanwhile, 2 glamorous girls were recording videos for social media on their phones. adding some bold content to gain more followers. Their loud voices and laughter caught the attention of that rat-like creature, who probably hated such things. It was already irritated by their fake laughter and show-off behavior. Just as the girls were discussing new poses, the creature slowly climbed onto a construction vehicle, a loader. It started the machine and began moving toward them. When the lights turned on, the two girls were delighted, thinking the lighting would improve their video. But they had no idea that death was only moments away. A nurse approaching from the other side saw the scene unfold, and the terrifying creature used the distraction to flee. Meanwhile, Veer was helping some passengers move to the lower deck. Just then, the nurse ran up to Selena and said, "Now I completely believe you. We have to do something quickly." The most urgent task at that moment was to inform all the passengers who were still unaware of the danger. But their path was blocked by a heavy door. At the same time, an unaware staff member accidentally revealed the captain's death to everyone. As soon as they heard this, panic broke out among the passengers. To calm them down, a guard stationed on the crew said with confidence, "As long as we're together, we will catch this killer." His words filled the people with enthusiasm, and everyone was ready to help. But the very next moment, someone shoved an iron rod through that same guard's neck. Blood splattered all over everyone. As soon as he fell to the ground, people caught a glimpse of the real killer. That same terrifying rat-like creature. It was dancing on its own tongue. Now the people tried to catch it together, but it wasn't scared at all. It picked up a nearby fire pipe and sprayed high-pressure water on everyone. Under the force, all the passengers fell down. Then it broke the electrical panel, causing current to run through the water. All the passengers inside the deck were electrocuted to death. 3 people standing outside somehow survived the deadly shock and ran off to hide. Now they were trying to find a safe place. While climbing the stairs, they came across 2 more surviving passengers. Together, they headed toward the control room. But when they got there, they saw the captain had also been killed, and the wireless radio was dead. In the middle of sorrow and fear, suddenly an old man grabbed Silna's leg. For a moment, they feared he might be a threat too. But it turned out he had been hiding in the control room all along and had somehow survived till now. Meanwhile, a glamorous girl was walking alone on the deck looking at pictures clicked by her friends. Suddenly, she noticed a strange shadow in one of the pictures. That same terrifying rat human. She realized something was wrong and thought of warning the others. Just then, something caught her foot. She looked down and saw a piece of flesh. When she picked it up, a severed head rolled out from it. She screamed. Her scream was so sharp it sounded like a dolphin crying. Now that creature was slowly approaching her with a fishing spear in hand, singing a birthday song from its mouth as it advanced toward her. The girl ran into a rest area in fear and started cursing the creature from behind the glass. But just then, the spear tore through the glass and pinned her to the wall. Meanwhile, the people left in the control room were still trying to find a way out. The nurse suggested that they use the emergency signal flare to call for help. Everyone immediately agreed with the suggestion. Just then, an elderly man pointed towards an old photo hanging in the ship and said that the ship had a very old story. He explained that back in 1960, there was a ship captain named Walter, who was a very kind-hearted man. One day, he discovered a strange creature locked in a cage in the basement of the ship, put there by scientists for experimentation. Captain Walter set it free, and they became good friends. But during a sea storm, both of them went missing. Now, after so many years, that human rat creature had returned, more dangerous and ruthless than ever before. The remaining people decided they had to split up and make a plan. Pete led a group towards the engine room where they heard some movement. To their surprise, they found the engineer, Dominic, who had gone missing earlier. Miraculously, she was still alive. Dominic said that they had to work together to restart the engine. But just as everyone started moving forward, Dominic, who was walking behind, suddenly picked up a heavy steel rod and attacked the bearded man. No one had realized that Dominic had now become an ally of the creature. Meanwhile, Selena and the nurse were heading toward the ship's storage room. While searching for the signal flare in the storeroom, the nurse stepped on a rusty nail. She screamed in pain. Selena signaled her to stay quiet so that the dangerous rat wouldn't realize they were there. Selena continued searching for the flare, while the nurse, enduring the pain, somehow pulled the nail out of her foot. But it was already too late. The terrifying creature had already sensed their presence. Selena nervously turned around and saw that the rat was standing right behind her. Trying to impress her, it gifted Selena a flower made from human ears, and then tried to forcefully kiss her. Seeing this, Selena screamed loudly in fear. At that moment, the nurse quickly picked up a screwdriver and plunged it straight into the rat's eye. The wounded rat immediately fled from there. Both of them then tried to retrieve the signal flare, but the box was completely empty. Meanwhile, the rat had reached the engine room. Dominique was already there, and upon seeing it, saluted and said, "I'm doing everything as you ordered. Please forgive me." But the injured and furious rat didn't listen and attacked her. At the same moment, Albert took advantage of the situation, handed a signal flare to Pete, and said, "Take everyone and run quickly." He himself pointed the signal gun at the rat. A massive explosion occurred in the engine room, causing water to start flooding the ship's foundation. Selena and the nurse came running and first rescued the small child. But by then, the water had risen to waist level, and Pete was in bad shape. Suddenly, everyone was shocked. The rat was still alive. It attacked Pete and dragged him underwater. Selena could only watch helplessly. The nurse pulled Selena out and calmed her before going to collect supplies to survive the cold. But then once again, she ran into the rat in the ship's hallway. He still wasn't dead. He quickly covered him with a lid and ran to tell Selena. Selena now started to feel that the rat wasn't just killing randomly. Then the child showed an old photo where there weren't just one but two human-like rats, one male and one female. Maybe the rat was looking for his female partner. Selena came up with a plan. She told the head nurse to take the child to the roof and call for help. Both of them went up and started waving for help after spotting another boat. But just then, the rat saw them and charged to attack. The nurse picked up an iron rod from the ground and both tried to defend themselves. But the rat's strength was overwhelming. It attacked the nurse's shoulder with a deep wound. Meanwhile, Selena arrived, disguised to look like the female rat, trying to attract the rat's attention. The rat truly got mesmerized by her appearance. But Selena suddenly attacked. However, her strike missed slightly, and the rat wasn't fully injured. Selena quickly backed off, realizing it was wiser to escape. As she ran back to the nurse, they saw that the rat had now caught the child and had pushed him into the water. Selena rushed to save him, but she slipped and fell into the water herself. The rat, who was about to attack her, suddenly stopped. Even though he wanted to, he couldn't raise a hand against her. Perhaps in that moment, the image of his long-lost female partner, who had fallen into the sea years ago, flashed in his mind. After that internal struggle, the rat pulled Selena out of the water. He now considered Selena as his companion. He not only saved her, but also gave her a howl, almost as if to release his bizarre emotions. Just then, they heard the nurse screaming from a distance. The moment the rat heard the voice, his attention shifted. In the struggle that followed, the rat accidentally fell into the sea. The small boy managed to survive by clinging to a floating drum. Then Selena saw a rescue boat approaching them. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief, as if they had just woken from a nightmare. But no one knew that among the trash washed up on the shore, the rat was still alive, barely in a very weak condition. And standing beside him was a female rat-like creature, probably the long-lost partner he had been searching for all these years. It seemed as if the rat had finally found his own. Meanwhile, in the control tower, the operator suddenly heard a voice through the wireless. Someone calling for help. He was still trapped under the ship, waiting to be rescued. With this, the story ends here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Subscribe to this channel for more horror stories like this.